In my channel, my YouTube channel will be about reviewing meal deals from different stores around the country. So it's mainly the primary stores such as Sainsbury's, Tesco's, Morrison's. So I wanted to find a YouTube channel that did something similar to this. And then, so I searched around for different YouTube channels that did stuff similar to this. And one thing I did find was a YouTube channel called The Chicken Connoisseur. And what this guy does, it's someone who's young, and he goes around to different type of fried chicken places and reviews their meal deals they do there. For example, one of his episodes, he went and there was like this deal for like £2 which came with sandwich, a drink, all that stuff. And he sat there and he went through it and he told you, and he rated it all different ways. The channel is shot using a lot of different types of close-ups throughout, of maybe his face, then close-ups of the cameras, of the food even, of what he's eating, then all the food shots. Yeah. A lot of his episodes usually tends to filmed about night time, and that gives a similar feel to all of his episodes that he uploads. Between the shots, there usually tends to be a lot of like quick shots and transitions between all of them to make it flow easier between each shots, but also to make it look more visually appealing and nicer to watch. And the duration of these videos tends to be about roughly 3 minutes. A big part of that is because people of a younger generation will not want to sit there and watch a full in-depth review. So by putting it down to about 3 minutes, yeah, he puts in more quality time. He's more quality over quantity with his time of what he shoots. This channel works very well at appealing to a younger generation, because in the background of a lot of his shots, there is types of music that a younger generation would be, such like rap or grime music, which tends to be in the background of a lot of his recordings and films. So that it tends to draw them in more. He also speaks in more of that kind of dialect and language that people of a young generation would also speak as well. So they seem almost more relatable towards him of what he's saying and what he's doing. He also does, he also rates the food in different scales, like all different parts of the food, he might rate it in different ways, so that will make it easier to understand, think about what he's saying, and so you can compare it between different episodes, so you know that got a certain rating here, this one's better through that, and it's very simply laid out, which someone of a younger generation would also appreciate, because they would less likely to go into more personal research. I'd rather have the information right in front of them. To make my channel more in depth, to make my channel different and better, sometimes he can slack between going to full in depth of like texture, taste, value for money between his foods, which although some of that might not appeal to as big of a larger audience, some people will value that information more, as then they can sit there and listen and properly know what they are getting from it, instead of just a short, simple description. They could know more, and then that memory of what I've told them will last them longer as well, as they will have more information there. And also, in my one, I'd get other people's opinions on the food that I'm eating, as that gives a second opinion just to my own. Sometimes it could agree with me, also it could juxtapose me, then people have a better idea of my taste of food. Then, yeah, so I can then go more in depth, and I can split into different sections, which he doesn't do. His channel is laid out different compared to a lot of other ones, because a lot of food reviewing tends to be for a lot bigger restaurants, more important types of restaurants, like main restaurants like Michelin star places, but then his ones are just for chicken shops. And the reason that would go to a younger generation more was that people of ages about 14 to 16 to 25 maybe, tend to be more likely to go to a fast food place than an actual restaurant. So with this, because he did it different, no one else has done it like this before, when they've gone to review small shops instead of a big restaurant, it's different, it makes it stand out more compared to other places, right? And yeah, because other food reviews tend to be quite upper class, also a lot of food reviewing tends to be could be about 10 to 15 minutes long per episode, which makes it a lot more in-depth. But with it being 3 minutes, it's a shorter amount of information, a short amount of time, but easier to understand and read. So yeah, because it's about a chicken shop, it stands out from the crowd a lot more. And because this is in the style of a YouTube channel compared to a podcast, you can visually see what he's seen as well. So that could help out what's the appeal of the food, the size of the food. Instead with a podcast, you can only hear him talk about it. You can't see the information of what he's taken or what he's eating. So that's why I would do mine in a YouTube channel as well, so they could see directly what it is, what you're eating. Yeah, that's it. Another channel I looked at was a YouTube channel called Eater, which is a more kind of go-to restaurants which are more upper class. Tends to be more better restaurants, better quality ones, and more of a variation in the types of food they do there. Now this one, their episodes tend to be about 10 to 15 minutes per episode, where they go into a lot more detail. And what they tend to do compared to most channels is they actually go behind the scenes of how the food was created and how it was made and cooked, like the preparation behind it and stuff like that. Also, they sometimes do special episodes where they might go to find the biggest portion they could, the most expensive one, so people have a better idea of like where to find that, they would look for that. Yeah, with this channel, he's the same guy. You follow around, he goes to different places and yeah, eats more upper class food in a way. More expensive restaurants tend to be compared to something like a chicken shop. And yeah, this appeals to quite a wide audience, as it covers a lot of topics and bases around. Yeah, this tends to have a lot of more kind of formal shots and more classy shots in a way, more impressive shots. Maybe like close up of food cooking, close up of the food being cooked. It tends to be more of kind of a lighting which makes the food look better, classy, and mainly more expensive as well. If I was to do mine similar to this, it may be in slightly less detail, or put it in a better order, because sometimes what I find in these videos is there's quite a lot of important information, and the middle bit tends to be, the beginning is important information, the middle bit is more some kind of bit of a ramble, the last bit tends to be ended, but by the time I've gone through the 10 minutes in the middle, I might lose interest in it. So I'd make mine shorter, have more quality compared to quantity in it.